Hi, I'm Gurpreet Singh,
Myself, Pavitra Singh,
and today we will doing a good presentation.
on corporation law.
So probably I will the first one who will begin. So I'll be telling about the Australian Corporation Act first. So the Australian Corporation Act 2001 was borrowed from the UK, the United Kingdom, and the legal structure of the Corporation Act consists of a single statute. And the Corporation Act of Australia is an Australian Commonwealth for all the companies that have been in Australia for a long time. So now I'll be telling you about the shareholders and the members of the company, how to become a member, what's a member, what's a shareholder, how to become a shareholder. So probably I'll be telling you all about shareholders and members. So a shareholder. Shareholder is a person who claims part of an open or a private company is probably referred to as a shareholder. And shareholder owns the company depending upon the degree of the capital supply. So the more the shares, the more you have own, like the more you own the company. If you have like a 60% shares in the company, probably you're like the boss of the company. So the other boss, you 40%, that's like, so some guy owns 10%, some owns 20. They are also the owner of the company, but the guy who has the major shares in the company is regarded as probably the owner or the boss. He will be the guy who will be taking all the decisions. So, a stock operation must have a share offer and in any case, a shareholder. ASIC can request that the organization diverge if has no shareholders. So, how to become a shareholder? To some, the company offers to become a shareholder, and for some individual, buying process is involved in the organization of an existing shareholder and the organization that registers the exchange, and the person registered in the application to register the organization as a shareholder in the institute. Now coming to members. How to register for a member. The registration of member for a company. A. Name and address of the member. B. The date of writing the section name in the registration. The Corporation Act of Australia 2001 does not specify a basic age for a member of an organization. So a guy can be of 20, 30, 40, doesn't matter. The age doesn't matter. So the restricted organization must have 50 members who are not employees of the organization. So a member can not be an employee cannot be a member. There are no restriction on the number of members in an open organization. In an open organization, it can be 5, 10, 20. The number doesn't matter at all. A base of 100 people can be used by a small minority of people to request meeting to set goals that are unlikely to be approved regularly. So, how to become a member in an organization? So there must be a written consent to be a member before the application for registration is made. The company is responsible for notifying us of changes to register of members. Already be a member of a company limited by guarantee when it diverges to a company limited by shares. Now coming to procedural irregularity. Procedural irregularity is an improper code of conduct. An assessment refers to an error or mistake in the way that an assessment has been carried out. Basically, this case comes in the section 1322, like which has various subsections. So I'll be probably telling you about the two subsection. After that, Purita will take over for me. So the first one is proceeding not invalidated. An action under this law will not be refused due to one procedure violation unless the court considers that his anomaly has caused or may cause a serious hazard. The company cannot be remedied by a judicial request and upon request announcing that the process is not correct. The second one, invalidation of meeting. Session held within the meaning of this act or meeting memo submitted under the provision of this act or measures taken at the meeting are not simply cancelled due to unplanned monitoring of the withdrawal from the meeting, or no person will receive notification of the session unless the court voids the procedure of the session about the use of the person concerned. Now, Pavitra will take over the rest.
Now, the third one is member participations. If the members does not have any reasonable opportunity to attend a members meeting or individual meeting that contains at least two scenario, like maybe the serious injury or maybe the bad habit of the person, they will be like as a you can use as a way to be not attend the meetings. And the fourth one is like effective of inability to access a notice. The meeting held for this act must be presented by the provisions of this act. It will not be easy for simple because of the weakness of an individual to access the calling of the meeting and hold it, unless the court, when using the person concerned, a person entitled to attend the meeting decides that the procedures in the meeting are invalid. And for the third question, we will discuss about the potential liability of Allen. In this case, as conflicts of interest arises for the Allen when information about an accurate tender is shared with the potential organization, including Allen's cousins, who is working on the redesign. Some of the liability of the Allens uh, Allen is liable under conflicts of interest by disclosing SNL matters. A conflict of interest arises when an individual judgment is or may be influenced by considerations of improper personal gain, benefits to individuals or another person. Because of underlying motives behind this agreement, a relative is also person related to blood or marriage or his relationships with employee. The employee, officer, or president must never use for attempt to use his or her positions in the company to gain any fortunate individual benefit for himself, his relatives, or another persons. All business options must be in the company interest and and changeable circumstances arises when person's judgment is compromised or can be influenced by considering in unjustifies individual's gain or benefits from one person or another, regardless of whether the real and incompatible circumstances arise or not. The condition that creates a conflict uh, may affect the publicity of the company or cause various problems for the company and should be avoided in any case. Incompatible solutions as a problem are excluded from the corporate agreement unless the company has previously confirmed them. Because of the underlying benefit, sorry, because of the underlying behind this agreement, our relatives is a person related to blood or a marriage or his relation with an employee, such as those related to people with blood or marriage. Individual inclusions can result not only to solutions where an employee or relative have a reasonable interest for a company with which the company works, but also when an actor or relative gives a generous grace or unique thinking of the one company inmates, customers, or sellers. In this way, management should never be subject to individual addition and positive attitudes. Business dealing with outside firms should not result in unusual gains for those firms or their employees. In particular, senior influence officer must act by the public morals and with the due regards for the availability of open company information. Senior financial officers must immediately report any inconsistencies or shortcoming in their company internal controls. Personal gain can result not only in situations where an employee or a relative has a reasonable interest for a company, but also when an employee or a relative give a report. And
So probably that's like a end of a good presentation. So probably like thanks for watching.
yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank you.